Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec podcast episode. We are not sitting inside at a microphone. We're actually on location here at Overland Expo West. I'm joined by my new friend Raoul from Nokian Tyres. Nokian has been a huge supporter of Out of Spec over the years and actually just launching some new, I would say, badging to the tires, some new testing that's going on. So I wanted to get Raoul's impression, of course, of the full model lineup of everything that Nokian offers, talk a little bit about Outpost, NAT, and of course APT, tires that I run on my vehicles personally, of course the Hakkapeliitta winter line, which are just epic winter tires, and then now this new, I would say, electric fitment badge. Yes. Raoul, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me here. So yeah, as you know, Nokian Tyres is a company that's really conscious about being a sustainable company. And electric vehicles are part of that being sustainability. So it's something new that consumers are going for when they purchase a new vehicle, and they're going to need tires. One of the main features of electric vehicle is a quiet vehicle. You don't have much noise on the vehicle. There's no engine producing noises. So with that introduction of the new electric fit badge or sign on the tires, we want to let our consumers know that all our tires are designed for electric vehicles as well. We do have a line right now on the winter tires that is exclusive for EVs.
Can we actually show that? There's one just over here, right?
In fact, we have one over here.
So this is my favorite tire. It's what I run on all of my cars, the studded Hakkapeliitta 10 EV.
This is our premium winter tire, the Hakkapeliitta 10 EV. So the EV stands for electric vehicle. It's designed specific for electric vehicle. Now, the difference is when you have a winter tire, the tread pattern and the studs, they're gonna produce a little bit more road noise. So this specific tire, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna cross over and remove this.
Ah, here we go, getting down in there.
Has an acoustic foam inside the tire.
Yeah, see if we can get up in there. I'm not sure it's possible, but yeah, you can see the foam right there.
The acoustic foam helps reducing that noise from the tread pattern and the studs being transferred to the cabin. Now, this is a technology that we introduced and is only available on the winter tires. But that doesn't mean that all season and all weather all-terrain tires are not designed for electrical vehicles. So with that introduction of the electric fit symbol.
Yeah, so let's come back over here really quick. So just so I understand it, Raoul, before we get into it, the new electric symbol will be rated for most Nokian tires, or all of them?
All of them.
Okay, and it's basically called electric fitment.
Electric fitment,
and it'll be a new badge.
It will be a new badge. So for example, right here, you can see the 3-peak snowflake symbol, which is saying that is rated for winter.
Right, but that's like an ISO standard, right?
Yes.
That's
So we're gonna add a badge to that says electric fit.
Okay.
So with that, we want to translate to consumers that they don't have to purchase an EV specific tire. All the tires are rated for the weight of the electric vehicles, for the torque that those electric motors produce. And also they're gonna be quiet, like having the acoustic foam. The only reason we put acoustic foam on the winter tires is because the studs and the tread pattern creates a little more noise on the road.
So does the R5 EV have winter foam or have foam on the inside as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But that's a non-studded.
That's a non-stud.
So that must be really quiet.
It's really quiet.
Yeah.
And the reason that has that is because a winter tire has to have a V pattern. That's the best pattern to get more traction on winter and snow and ice. But if you go, for example, on the other side we have our Nokian 1, which is an all-season tire.
It's actually what I have on my Model 3. It's a perfect all-season tire,
Yeah, and you run it on your Model 3.
Yep.
And with the electric fitment symbol, we want to relate to the consumers that this tire also is rated for electrical vehicles.
Okay.
Just because it doesn't have the foam doesn't mean that it's going to be as quiet as the tire with the foam.
So just, I guess to break it down, you'll have a couple different levels of electric tires. You're going to have every one of your tires, which is really true actually. So like at your testing facilities, mostly in Finland, but also the new Spain facility, you have like every popular EV on the market.
Correct.
Every tire is pretty much tested on a Tesla. So like they're engineered, they're engineered for EVs from the ground up.
Correct. So like I said before, we're a company that's really conscious about being sustainable, and electric vehicles is part of that. So we want to translate to the consumers that all our tires are tested for electric vehicles as well. So just because you don't have the foam inside doesn't mean that it's not going to be a quiet tire. Doesn't mean that the tire is not going to withstand the torque of the electric motors. It's not going to withstand the weight of electric vehicle. It's just that on the winter tires, it's going to be a little more noisy tire for the nature of the tread pattern.
I mean, I have 40,000 miles on my set of Nokian ones on a Tesla Model 3 Performance that we rip on.
Yeah.
And they're getting close to time for replacement. We'll put winters on and then swap them, but that's an insanely long-lasting tire.
Yes.
For our use case. And again, it hasn't been EV badged.
Correct.
And people, I think to remain competitive in the market, if we're kind of honest, we're starting to see all of these other companies just slap EV badges on everything, where they may not actually test them on electric cars like Nokian does.
Correct. Yeah, in Nokian, like you said, I mean, we tested on electric vehicles as well as internal combustion engines. And the thing is, all these companies that you mentioned that come with the electric vehicle model, you had to pay a little more price for that when you can get the same performance, same features on a tire without having to pay more. That's the whole thing about Nokia. So with the introduction of the electric fit badge, we want to relate to consumers that they can fit that on an electric vehicle, and the consumers are still driving a combustion engine, they can use the same tire on their vehicle without losing any features, any safety of the tire or performance.
It'll be really great, especially when the consumer's in the moment at Discount Tire or at a tire shop and they're looking between tires. They'll see electric fit, and it is a great tire because I've tested all of them. They'll really go for that. So I'm really a fan of this. I think this is a great move. More of a branding thing than an engineering change.
Correct.
But I think it's a great messaging to the consumer. Of course, it's a step below the full EV optimized tire, which has extra thick carcass and all those things with the foam and everything that you put on the 10 EV. I also want to talk to you a little bit about the Outpost offerings. We're here at Overland Expo, so let's run over to those. You, of course, offer Outpost AT, which was a previous tire.
Yes, so the Outpost AT, we introduced that tire about a year and a half, 2 years ago. It was the predecessor of our previous all-terrain tire. So our previous all-terrain tire was produced in Europe, and the consumer in Europe is different than the North America consumer.
Yeah.
Let's face it, here we want a little more aggressive tread patterns, we want bigger sizes, aggressive sidewalls. So Nokia is a company that we always listening to consumers, improving our products. So we introduced the Outpost AT, but as you know, our factory in Russia, we shut down operations, so we're no longer in Russia. So all that production was moved to the US, to our Dayton, Tennessee factory. And with that being said, that's why we renamed the Outpost. Now it's gonna be called the Outpost NAT, which stands for North America All-Terrain.
And so now you have new sizes, slightly optimized tire for our market specifically, not trying to blend in the needs of Europe and other things.
So one of the main requests from consumer in the US, they want a little bit more aggressive sidewalls.
Yep.
Our engineers in Europe, they didn't have the need for that. They were like, I mean, why are we gonna do that?
Right.
But the consumer wants that.
So we listen to that. Event, we all want
we listen to that. So the big changes on the Outpost NAT is we went from the round profile to more square profile. We did the more aggressive sidewalls, and we also eliminated the serrated lines on the sidewalls to make it more appealing, and this aggressive sidewall pop even more.
Yeah,
which is what the consumer wants.
And I've done on at least the AT. I haven't actually driven an NAT yet.
Okay.
But on the AT, we've gone all the way up to Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, off-road, hitting potholes, hitting bumps. The tires take a beating. It's amazing because we've had stuff where I'm like, did that flex the chassis of our van, of our Sprinter? And the tires hadn't popped. I mean, it was really amazing.
Well, like I said, there's no major changes between the AT and the NAT.
Great.
It's just slightly
just
cosmetic
US
changes.
production.
Yeah, US production.
Yeah.
So, but like you mentioned before, I mean, you can go to really rough terrain or tires because we use the Aramid fiber technology in our tires. So the Aramid fiber is a really lightweight and strong fiber used in aerospace and bulletproof vest. So we mix that with our rubber compounds, and on the Outpost NAT, we place it on the sidewalls on the tire and underneath the tread. So it makes the tire about 24% more puncture resistant and more impact brake on the sidewalls.
Right. I've hit some rocks, my fault of driving, right? You always want to take the correct line, but occasionally you don't.
Yes.
And I've had situations, I've had the Outpost ATs on my Rivian, and I've got it stuck in the side. I'm like, oh no. And it turns out to be okay. And that is all that Aramid.
Correct. If you look at our sidewalls, I mean, they're really flexible, which sometimes the consumer thinks that is a bad thing. They don't want a tire that flex so much, which is the opposite. When you have a tire that has a lot of rubber there, thick rubber, when you hit a pothole or a rock, that rubber is going to give up. It's going to break. And that's when you usually notice what the consumers call it a bubble on the side.
Sure.
the sidewall breaks and the air starts leaking and
Is there
start
a
producing
technical
bubbles.
term for the bubble? Like, is there like
It's an impact brake.
An impact brake.
Yeah,
So it's
but
I'm no longer going to call them bubbles. I'm
Yeah.
going to say, oh,
it's more
you have
common to hear, I got a bubble on the sidewall and I don't know what happened. But what happens when you hit a pothole, you hit the curb, the structure of the sidewall compromises and start getting leaks, and that start forming that bubble. So with the aramid fiber, allows the sidewall to be more flexible, and when you hit that pothole, when you hit that rock on off-road situations, it's gonna withstand better on that impact, since it flexes much more than a tire without the fiber.
And you're also, some of the new tire sizing, which I think is really important with NAT, will be offered in Rivian sizing, which is
Yes.
great, because that's always been the tough thing with Nokian was, we had this great partnership, and certain wheels and certain tires worked, but it wasn't
Yes,
like
yes.
everything for every option.
Correct,
And so
correct.
more sizes in this, which is great. I also want to talk to you about Outpost APT,
Outpost
which I have a
APT.
classic Range Rover that I run the APT, because it's not going wheeling every day. I want it to look a little bit better, handle some snow,
You're right, yes.
handle some dirt.
Yes.
It's a light off-road tire.
So that's why we decided to introduce this model, the Outpost APT, which stands for all-purpose tire. SUVs, crossovers is a big segment of the vehicles. They're really, really popular in the US. And that's for a driver that wants the comfort of a sedan. They drive during the week to work, they commute in the city, they go on the highways. They don't want to lose that comfort of riding, but on the weekend they might want to go fishing, camping, up to the mountains. So they want to use the vehicle for what it's designed for. So that's when the Outpost APT comes from. You don't want something too aggressive, but you still want to go off-roading. So the Outpost APT is going to be really quiet, really smooth on the highways, but when you go off-road situations, you get the traction, you get snow capabilities. It's also an all-weather tire, so you can compromise that. You can pretty much go anywhere that you want with this tire.
And that's what I've been using it for. And the other cool thing is you're looking at this side of the APT, but this side's different, right?
Correct. So we make two different sidewalls. Some people, they don't want the aggressive look, they're a little more conservative.
Sure.
So you got your traditional sidewall. But for the ones that are a little more adventurous, I want a little bit
Come on
extra,
over, look at this side.
extra rough looking. So we have a different sidewall. So the consumer can choose which side they want to
I
show.
chose this side. We live here in
Yes,
Colorado.
yes.
Looks cool. And I was like, well, if I can choose, give me the aggressive side. But I can certainly see like more of a base Subaru or something like this
Yes,
going with a
Subarus,
natural.
RAV4s,
Yeah.
all those vehicles. We want to give those consumers the option to 100% utilize the capabilities of their vehicles.
It was just something I've never really seen from tires where you can personalize the look based because
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
can go in any direction.
Yes, yes.
So that was a really cool situation.
Each consumer is different, so we try to put a product that can pretty much fit everybody. If you
It's
want to
awesome.
stay traditional, go with this side. More aggressive, let's go with this side.
Yeah, if you live in Colorado, you're only allowed to show this side.
And a lot of those Subarus, they actually lift them
Yeah.
and they want to make it look rough and aggressive, so let's go with this side.
Sure. No, that's great. Well, I can't thank you enough for the tour. We'll be seeing the electric fitment badge on all of these tires.
Yes, all the tires are going to have it. The tires that are in the market right now, they're not going to have that, but they are electric cooled.
Right,
It's
there's
just-
no engineering change.
There's no engineering change. We just want to relate to the consumers that our tires are suitable for electric vehicles and combustion engines as well, without having to stick with something that says EV exclusive.
No, I think that's a great move, really great to see. And when will the badge start making it into production?
So the badge, for what I'm understanding, the tires for next year, all the production is going to have that badge.
So
It might be-
2024 production.
Yeah, it might be that be sooner than that.
Okay.
But that is the.
Cool. Well,
Right now.
I can't thank you enough for the
Thank
tour.
you so much. I appreciate the
That
time.
was great. And for those of you who are looking for new tires, you can always reach out to us. You reach out to Nokian Tyres NA on Twitter. They're great at responding. They can help you choose the right tire for your car. And of course, there's a ton of Nokian Tire retailers all over the country. Thanks for watching another episode of the Out of Spec podcast. We'll see you on another one soon. Bye-bye.